Yeah, and we're live. Welcome, you beautiful bastards, to Bastards Breakdown. I am here with my very special guest, Tony Down Under. How are you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to be talking about such a really good movie.
It is. It's fucking brilliant movie, and I'm glad you picked it, and I'm glad I rewatched it because it's easy to see how it's easy to see just how you can forget how good this movie is. So, shall we crack on?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. So crack on with the. Let's crack on then. Right, so we've got the TriStar pictures, and after we get that great little intro into Zorro slashing the screen, and we get a nice little bit of exposition. And apparently, after Spain's 300-year domination of Mexico was about to end, People's Rebellion, led by General Santa Anna, spread from the arid mountains to the south to the rich and the fertile northern province known as California. Peasants gathered in the streets calling for the blood of the last Spanish governor, Don Rafael Monteiro, if I'm pronouncing his name right. Although under orders to return to Spain, Monteiro refused to relinquish power without one final request. So yeah, he's obviously going to get one last fuck you in there, isn't he?
Yeah. I just absolutely love the just opening bit. Like before we get introduced to the characters, we get Zorro doing his iconic Z, and then we get the just brief introduction of what's going on. It's simple and very effective to get the point across. And I kind of wish movies did that now when you're doing a sprawling epic or something.
Yeah, especially when you got a film that already has this kind of mythology as well, and this is sort of being a bit of a loose reboot sequel to the original ones that came before it.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely interpret it as a sequel to just the original Zorro movies, or you can interpret it as this is the first story, and it just works either way.
I know you don't. I mean, 'cause you don't need to see the others to get the history of uh, Don Rafael and De La Vega, do you? Because
Oh yeah,
it's
no.
you get the point across already.
Yeah, in the
So
first opening scene, you just understand the information, the dynamics between the characters, and it's just very well established in just the opening sequence.
exactly, and so it looks like Don Rafael is about to execute a few men, sort of as a way to twist the knife into people who are finally going to get their way and get rid of him. And we got these.
Yeah, it's very good because it just shows that yeah, this guy's an asshole through and through, and
Yeah, he
he
don't
just
give a shit.
yeah.
And yeah, Stuart Wilson. Let's try and see if we can get a picture of him somewhere. Where is he? Where is he? Okay, well, that's not him. That is. Let's get the name up. I forget sometimes.
Oh hey, it's the school teacher from the sequel.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Yeah, that was a weird thing because I remember watching the sequel and I'm like, wait, so he found religion and became a teacher like in the next movie? Man,
I
I
think
guess
I think
being
it
loyal to
is.
the
Yeah, I
way.
think I think it kind of is like when you watch those old TV shows, they would have the same actor playing different parts because back then people didn't have videos. You watched it and then you had to sort of remember what you could.
Yeah,
So
it's like Cheech in those Robert Rodriguez films. He just shows up and
yeah,
it's like, oh yeah.
I know. So yeah, so that's Don Luis, played by Tony Amendola. Might have gone further back. Let's see if we can get Don Rafael up. Where is he? Okay, so
Oh, that's the good guy. That's the
I know. There he is. Here he is. Here's the
there it is.
bastard. Yeah, and it's looking like he's gonna. The Spanish is about to take over unless he gives Don Luis permission to keep California warm for him till he gets back.
Oh yeah, and I love how we just introduced to him snorting cocaine. I'm assuming. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh yeah, yeah, he's
yeah,
definitely the bad guy.
yeah. It's cocaine. I think it was legal back in those days anyway. So yeah, I
Hmm.
think loads of people would snort like a little bit of cocaine, during the day.
I mean, hey, it was back in those days, and it was death was like a certainty back then. So yeah, you got to enjoy life while you can.
I know. So then let's see if we can move a bit more forward. Yeah, and the kids are obviously waiting for Zorro. They're hoping something will happen, and yeah, and what we don't know is just how important one of those kids will be. But
Yeah, it's really great weaving in the new Zorro with the old Zorro in like a
yeah,
very nice way. It's not too forced, but it's like not too like, oh yeah, they just short sort of meet up.
yeah, yeah. No, and plus it does kind of make the passing of the mantle more impactful because he already has had some history and he knows just how good these kids can be.
For me,
Well,
yeah,
sorry, he knows just how Alejandro, Alejandro is because he saved him one time, so it does
yeah.
become something very valuable to him.
Oh yeah, and for me, this is what I wanted The Last Jedi to be, a passing of the mantle, but
Yeah,
like respecting the old hero. But like when I watched The Last Jedi, I was like, okay, this isn't what I expected. And then the more I watched it, I'm like, man, this is really pissing me off. And then when I watch this, I'm like, oh, so the Mask of Zorro is the perfect way of showing passing on the mantle while respecting the past.
exactly. Plus, unlike Ray, he actually does have a character arc. Alejandro is like this young, sort of impatient, sort of like scrappy kind of arsehole, isn't he? But he becomes a very suave, charming, well composed, very smart warrior. I
Yeah,
love
and what
that.
I also like is that when Antonio Banderas speaks, he trained, and then when they were talking, he was a natural at it. And they could have said, "Oh, this character is a natural," but instead they actually made him train in the movie. And I'm like, "Oh, a training montage! I missed that."
I know. It's not very fast paced. It's actually more of a comical trainer montage. But yeah, done.
Mm.
So Deliver
Oh, that's the face of a bad
Raphael, yeah.
guy.
Yeah, he is. Joe Wilson, he played pretty much every fucking villain in the 90s. He really did.
I mean,
S-
he got his paycheck, right? He was owed that. Oh,
Yeah,
Hopkins.
yeah. And obviously, Hopkins, he looks fucking good. I mean, the guy was in his 50s when he was doing this, and I think he did do a bit of training, but this is obviously a stuntman in places.
Oh yeah, for sure. But what's so great is that, like, I know he's Welsh, but like,
I
they
know.
don't even try and hide it. It's
No, they
like
don't.
this.
I'm kind of glad they didn't. Otherwise, I'd be distracted by a very bad fucking Spanish Latin accent. It's from a
And
Welshman.
a certain actress later on just completely convinced me of her, like, uh, her background in the film. When like I found out she was Welsh, I was like, oh, okay, that was impressive. I'll say that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fucking Catherine Zeta-Jones was Welsh, and I did not know because she does look very Latin.
Yeah,
But
I know. As a kid, I was like, "Oh shit, she's Welsh."
so obviously these three men are about to get executed. So
And I think this is like a great way to show that it's not all going to be kid friendly. It does take its theme seriously because the sequel just doubled down on the comedic and
he
I
did,
guess
yeah.
kid friendly nature, whereas the original does have moments of pretty dark themes like execution and
I know,
torture in sense. And
and
yeah.
cannibalism as well. And I like this
Oh
bit.
yeah.
Yeah, let's watch this bit. Come on, it's they're
Oh,
about to
this is
execute these
just
men.
iconic. Oh man.
Boom. I
Oh,
love
dude.
that.
Yeah,
Ah,
that's
look at
just
him.
so great.
Look
It's
how
like,
fucking
oh, man,
look how
no
fucking
words
good
can
Anthony
describe it.
Hopkins is.
Yeah.
I'll probably get
Oh yeah,
copyright, but
he's
who
great.
cares? Who cares? Who cares if I get copyright? This is awesome. Look at that. Look at that. Well executed fight scenes. You got the music playing. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, James Horner really like did such an
Yeah,
amazing job in this. It feels very much like a classic western, yet also just big, bombastic sword fighting action.
I know. And it's just old school swashbuckling, something that we really need in films these days. It's just pure
Yeah,
escapism, and yet look at him dispatching these guys. This guy, look, he's a fucking boss. This guy.
Yeah, I know. He just owns every moment of it. And like, even when you can tell that, oh, he's not everything's going to plan, he just snaps back and is able to make it work.
Yeah, he's always ready to think on his feet. Going back a bit, we need to get to that scene where, and obviously the kids save his life as well. Some guys are trying to fire at him, but they move a statue, and he hands them that medallion. So
Yeah, that medallion is like not just a story purpose, but it also is just a great way of showing that yeah, Zorro actually gives to the people, and he's not just some quote white guy trying to save them, from an evil guy or something. I don't know. It's like you can understand why people were inspired by Zorro, especially the creators of Batman.
I know exactly, and yeah, because he is very much Batman. He dresses in dark. He dresses in black. He reserves in the cave. He's got a black horse called Tornado, which could have been like an inspiration for the Batmobile in a way. And yeah, look at that. That's fucking good stunt work. All done for real. No fucking.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, it's so great.
Yeah, that was obviously Anthony Hopkins fucking standing up while the stuntman jumped down.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
Oh, we go. Here we go. Yeah, 3 marks.
Z.
3 men.
Fantastic.
Give me a minute. I think the dog's crying, but it's all right. But yes, yeah, it's the morning. She's usually out for a walk, but
well, it's the Tony Down Under show. I've taken over the stream now. As you can see, Zorro is definitely going to kill this man, but of course he won't. He's definitely just going to let him live and face the courts. So
yeah, I'm back on. Yeah, because it's early in the morning. I usually take her out for a walk, so I've just got to give her some loves while I do this. But yeah, and he's telling him leave and don't come back, and he's like, yes, I will.
Yeah, that won't bite him in the ass or anything, like at all.
So yeah, let's move on. And yet, because like you said, the medallion does serve as a bit of a little setup for later on in the film. So
yeah, and I just love how it connects him to the training that Anthony, what's his name, Alejandro's character will be put through.
Yeah, no, it does get fucking dark. I mean, because he pretty much gets everything taken from him. But
yeah,
get to the scene now. Here we go. Yeah, there he is, and he's obviously playing a man in his late 30s, I'm guessing, but he's already been badly injured. He wants to. He's looking for a reason to retire now, even though there's a part of him that kind of likes going out there and doing it.
And can I just say, only Anthony Hopkins or Sean Connery can pull in a hot wife like that. Like, God damn. But I'm not gonna lie, I do wince a bit when Anthony Hopkins goes in for a kiss with his wife, and then it just seems like he's sucking the soul out of her. I'm like, okay, dude, I know you love her.
She does look like Catherine Zeta-Jones a tiny bit, though.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, but
it's crazy.
She's a beautiful woman as well. Don't know her name, but she's good. What's it? So we can get, move back a little bit. Yeah, and it's on, and obviously Don Raphael has found out who he is.
Oh, it's a brilliant way of how he finds out. Like the cut from earlier was, you can. It's little details like that that just adds to the story and continuity in places, because like you see in movies they have an internal continuity, and sometimes people just completely forget it, especially with all these Marvel movies with special effects and not being able to keep track with it. But in this, it's like it's a small cut, it's a small detail. They could have glossed over it, but they add it to the story, and it just works so well, and it keeps the suspense going. It's like, oh shit, he knows.
I know, and fucking hell, you do kind of sense that he's more in a vulnerable position now, and he's and out of all the battles he's won against him, it's not going to work. And obviously, the fighting, one of them goes to shoot him, and he fucking kills his wife, and it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
I
I'm
know.
not gonna lie, with that bit, it always shocks me, and like the opening before we get to the main plot of the story, it just works as its own mini story in it of itself. It's like its own little short film. You know, we have this hero, and then he eventually, gets broken down, and it just is a really amazing opening to a film.
I know. I mean, fucking, it really does grab you. It's like, oh shit, this real shit is actually happening here. And I
And
don't
I,
like.
and
I know. I
And I
like the
also
fact.
love that. And I also love that there's a reason for why Zorro didn't appear over the next 10 years or so. It's because like he couldn't. He was gone, and he had everything taken away from him. And I think that's just a beautiful way of just showing that. Oh yeah, our hero, he wants to come back, but he was broken down.
I know. And he's not the same guy he was as well. He does become a little bit more bloodthirsty, but he still he still manages to keep his wits and not become too impatient like Alejandro
Mm.
kind of is at the start. But I do like the fact after his wife is killed, fucking Don Raphael just fucking kills the guy who shoots her because obviously he had a thing for her in the past and she rejected him because he's a fucking tit, isn't he?
Mm. But I think, in any other movie, I would be like, oh, it's just the generic way of showing that he's, the bad guy. He has to kill one of his men.
Yeah,
But I'm glad that, it shows that he did love her and that's why he
yeah,
killed the guard. He's not like some random bad guy who just kill one of his henchmen to prove a point.
I know. It kind of goes back to GoldenEye a little bit as well because right at the beginning of the GoldenEye, one guy fires when he's not supposed to, and the villain fucking kills him. It's so it's a guy's good little feels very much like a little homage there in a way.
Yeah, it's a great little homage, but with Goldeneye, because it could all get themselves killed. This
I
one is a
know.
personal reason, and I
I
freaking
like that.
love
Yeah,
that.
I know. But like you said, it does flesh him out a little bit. It's like it kind of makes him a bit more psychotic as well because he's been obsessed with her, and it leads him to steal his the guy's fucking daughter away and raise her as his own. He practically kidnaps his fucking daughter. It's pretty fucked
Yeah, I
up.
know it's really fucked up. It's like, oh, okay, so he essentially kills her through not direct means, but then he steals his enemy's daughter and then
Uh,
puts his guilt the person she loves in prison for the rest of his life. I'm like,
I
holy
know,
crap.
I know, and he burns the house down. He takes away everything, and I don't know what happened to his horse. Did the horse die? And it was another horse that Alejandro had, or
I
did
think
he
it's another
confiscate?
horse. I think it's
Yeah,
another horse, but
I
like
know, because it was a
considering
bit old,
how,
isn't it?
yeah, definitely, because it's like what 20 years after.
I know, because when I first watched this, I thought this can't be the same horse. It was fucking old, wasn't he?
So I bet when they go back to the cave like 20 years later, there's like a shot off panel and you just see Tornado's dead corpse, like
Oh
the
shit, man!
skeleton, because like
Oh,
it was underneath the cave and there's no entrance to it besides under the waterhole. So the bloody thing starved to death.
oh man, that makes it even darker to be honest. But shit, man.
Yeah.
Maybe it
So
does
he's
add a bit more impact to the story, and yeah, he's
Yeah,
yeah.
so
I'm
he
sorry.
loses literally everything, his horse, his house, his wife, his daughter. Like this man has been crumbled to the ground, and that's what I was kind of missing from The Last Jedi. Sorry to bring it back to that, but The Last
Mm,
Jedi had so much opportunity to show how Luke fell down, but in this we get the reasons why his life was turned upside down. In Last Jedi, oh, he thought about killing someone for like 1 second, and it's not enough personal reasons.
yeah, no, it feels so fucking rushed and tacked on, and just another way to kind of shit all over Luke Skywalker. But like you said,
Yeah.
here is he's got a good motive, and you want him to get his revenge here because this is crazy.
Yeah, it's really beautiful, and just the music in the scene where the house is burning down. Oh, brilliant.
And
And
then
to
yeah, and
show how psychotic that guy is, he won't even let him hold his own daughter.
I know not
Like,
one last time. It's like yeah, he's definitely a guy who loves to fucking really twist a knife in when he wants to.
oh yeah, for sure.
And then we cut to 20 years later. There's Alejandro and his brother Joaquin, and looks like they're being captured by a bounty hunter called Jack.
Yes, the
We can,
three-fingered Jack.
so if we can get him on, where is he? Where is the bastard? There he is. There he is. Yeah, I love this character. He's pretty funny.
Yeah, for like only a couple of scenes, the dude like is a standout in the film.
And so yeah, obviously, turns out it's all the big roads to fucking steal from the soldiers that are gonna apprehend them because because I think they're like the elites that have always got all the riches while everybody else fucking starves to death.
It's such a great moment though, when it's like, "Hey, I thought you were all tied up."
It's like that's because you're stupid. And there is a hint where there is a little scene, there's a little moment in there as well where they get the wanted posters and they're only worth like fucking 200 fucking what dollars or pesos, something like that. It's like the biggest fucking insult you can ever have as a wanted criminal.
Yeah, 200 pesos for the both of them.
I know it's all together. Yeah, fucking hell. And I like how Alejandro is like, wait, how much is we? Like he's really anxious, so you can tell he's a little bit young and hasty and not very patient and not totally the smartest. And it's his brother that was always the guy that looked out for him more.
Yeah, he's definitely the cocky one out of the three, and
Yeah,
it's really great seeing his character progress over the film.
exactly. And it's looking like they may have gotten away. They're all enjoying themselves until this fucking psycho comes up and yeah,
Dude, he owns every
yeah,
moment of the film. I freaking loved it.
yeah. The guy is called Matt Lesher, if I'm pronouncing his name right, and he plays a guy called Captain Harrison, and he actually was a real guy. Apparently, he was a proper psychotic. So, and obviously he shoots Jack, and it's looking like Jack's dead, but we found out later that he's not, and he wounds Javier. No, sorry, Joaquin, and he tells, and Alejandro's like trying to save him, but Joaquin's like, no, go, go. And even though Alejandro is very reluctant to do so, he does what he's told. And it looks like, it's all over for him. Harrison walks up, Joaquin says like, fuck you, spits at him, kills himself. And then fucking Harrison just chops his fucking head off, and you see the medallion just fly with all the blood on it. And it's like, okay, you got a nice little bit of fucking gore there without actually showing some gore.
I
So
know it's really well shot. Like the shot where the medallion comes off, I'm like, I don't know, that shot always stuck with me. It's like, oh wow, oh that's really, it's really good.
and then it's like bury the body, bag the head. Oh, fucking hell, that's
Oh yeah. It's great seeing like a villain just own it. Like he's also played, I think, the Reverse Flash in like the Flash CW TV show. And say what you will about the TV show, it's very corny, but like when I remember watching him and I'm like, "Oh, wow, I've seen him before. He's a pretty good actor." And then I remember he was in this movie as pretty much Alejandro's antagonist. And I'm like,
yeah,
"Wow, he's really good in this."
yeah. So it basically becomes a revenge story for two people, and yet you can see Alejandro's picking up the medallion now, and he's devastated. He's lost his fucking brother, and he's lost now because he was the young one. He was the one who always had his older brother looking out for him, and now he has no idea what else to do or where to
I think
or who to turn to.
I think what's great about this movie is that even though it's very much a swashbuckler action, it takes moments of real seriousness. When someone dies, they actually have a moment to grieve, which is very rare in modern movies now, where
Yeah,
someone dies and
and
then
they get a
they're like,
fucking joke after.
yeah, it's like, oh, well, that just happened. Oh, I'm like, oh,
I know, fucking hell, give us some moment to actually soak in what's happening to these characters. Let's care for them. It's simple little things that make people want to come back to a movie, but no, we just get stupid fucking gags at the characters' expenses, and
it's like,
it's
oh,
very.
that just happened. Oh, okay.
I know.
I didn't like him anyway. Ugh.
So we can get to so it cuts to the prison, and yeah, God, this it's you see, Don Raphael has just returned now, and he's a little older, and he's trying to seek out Zorro just as a loose end, I'm guessing, before he returns to California or
I
announces
mean,
his
the
return.
dude knows the dude knows it's Zorro. You gotta kill him while you got the
I know,
chance.
I know, maybe old though, but he's still dangerous. And fucking hell, this really does look like the worst place. You can just see all these
It,
people have just been inhum. There's been no humanity or any humane treatments to them whatsoever. They're just left there to rot.
yeah, as a kid, this always creeps me out. This scene,
I know,
it's so disgusting and vile, and it's like people actually went through this, so it's like,
I
oh
know,
man,
I know. But it's kind of like one of those things as a kid where it challenges you a little bit and sort of helps you sort of realize that the world can be a really fucking harsh place. It gets you ready for it. Gets you ready for that
yeah.
reality.
And kids are smart,
Mm.
we underestimate them a lot with a lot of kids films nowadays, but, films like Lion King where you see, like, a father die, like,
Yeah.
kids can handle dark things.
Yeah, fucking hell. I remember when I think I was 6 years old when I saw The Lion King, and I'm seeing Mufasa's fucking big dead face staring at me on the big screen. It's like that has not left me. That really hasn't. Fucking hell.
Yeah,
And yeah, Alejandro's. I think when he sees Anthony Hopkins in there, he does realize. He does maybe notice it could be him, but then he gets interrupted.
yeah, I feel like he almost got him in that one
Yeah,
instance, but then all of a sudden, he gets interrupted, and then all of the prisoners, start to say, "I'm Zorro," just showing how much of an influence Zorro was to the people.
I know. Yeah, and then no one gets interrupted, but everyone's. I know, because yeah, it's kind of like Spartacus, isn't it?
Oh yeah. And what's great about this scene is that, one of the characters could be like, "Oh, you're too, racial stereotype
Yeah,
here.
I
You're not
was thinking
you're
that.
not this yet." But, instead you're too tall. They could have said, "Oh, you're
I
too
know,
black," or whatever, but they didn't do that, which I thought, yeah, it just adds to the fact that Zoro could be anyone.
I know. It does. I think it made me laugh when they called him, said he was too tall. It was like,
Yeah.
I think it's funny. I think it's funnier to be honest, because yeah,
Yeah, it's just way more funny and, like, not on the nose. It's like, "Oh, yeah, he's too
I
black." That's a standard thing we could say, but no.
I know. Oh God. But yeah, let's move a little bit. And yeah, and he gets interrupted. Everyone's going crazy, and one gets dragged back to his cell, only to I think gets his head smashed in, doesn't he?
Yeah, a bit too rough
Yeah,
the prisoners experienced.
I know. Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah, that's a pretty fucking harsh death, but at least it's quick.
It's quick, but there are way worse deaths, but man, just imagine being there. Like you probably die from like infection or stuff like that, or maybe even
Oh yeah.
torture. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's yeah. You still hear the fucking crunch of the skull, and it's not a nice sound to listen to. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
But obviously, Caesar it gives De La Vega an opportunity to escape.
Yeah, and it's a really tense escape scene because he has to, like, he kills a guard and then he has to, like, quickly prepare gunpowder. And
Exactly.
then it's so tense. And the music is great. Like, wow.
I know he's definitely thinking on his feet, and yeah, even when the powder explodes cuff around his leg, it's still you can sort of see it might have hurt him a little bit because it's a little explosive, isn't it? It's gonna
Yeah,
leave some impact.
because once it blows, he has a little sting. He's like, ugh. So, like he might have put a bit too much, but it's sort of like, well, he's got to escape somehow.
I know. So pretends. So he goes in place of the dead body and keeps the guards and the dead body hidden very well in the cell. And
Mm.
Jesus Christ, he must have he must have learned to hold his breath because that must have taken a good long while for him to wait for that perfect opportunity to pop out.
Well, for all we know, it could have been like 10 minutes. The the guy was like, okay, I gotta go.
I know. Yeah, he's coming out. He's coming out. Yeah, it's almost like a little symbol as well. Like he is risen from the grave. He is
Yeah, Zorro's
resurrected.
back.
I know. Let's move over to obviously Don Raphael is back now, and the people act so happy. And yeah, looks like Don Luis has kept to his word. He's kept Don Raphael's seat nice and warm for him on his return. And he's
I love how one of the Dons just ends up being, what is it, Mayor in the sequel? Like, it's like they try to knit their own little continuity, but it just like
yeah, I
it
know.
really works.
Yeah, I've not watched the sequel in a while. I think I watched it twice, but I just ended up getting bored. It just
It it's a very weird film.
I
Like, I
know.
mean, Alejandro turns into a drunk and he like,
Yeah,
wow.
it ruined his character. It really did. It turned him into an arsehole. And it's sad because we really see this guy start off as a bit of a impatient, cocky arsehole and he into this very fucking sophisticated, hero. And it's just such a good involvement of his character, and they ruined that in the sequel. It made me not like the guy.
They definitely tried to do a similar character arc with De La Vega in this movie, similar to the sequel. Like, he gets beaten down and then he has to rise back up. But the way of having him being a drunk is just, it just didn't really work. Like, it could have worked, but the writing by certain writers, preferably from the guy who, well, wrote Into Darkness, Alex Kurtzman, the writing team wasn't the same as the first movie, and you can
Yeah,
definitely feel that.
you can really bloody tell. And like I said, all it does is sort of regress his character. And no, you need to have the character same as it was last time, but find a way where he can develop even more.
Mm.
Like he still has something to learn, but they didn't do that. And so yeah, Don Raphael is back. He's announcing to everyone he's back, and everyone's not too happy. It's like, well, these people who you wanted to help you didn't work out, so come back to me. And yeah, and this
Yeah,
is
and I just love how, the crowd of people, they're not there for him. Like, why would they? The guy was, well, held California hostage for like 20 years before.
he was definitely a tyrant, and obviously Zorro's in the crowd, so we can get to him. There, yeah, he is, and he's got no plan. He's just going to walk straight up to try and kill him, and probably get killed doing it because he's got nothing left now except for vengeance.
Yeah, I mean, for all he know, his daughter could be dead or given away or something like that. Like,
I know.
he has nothing left. But then we
She
find
pops.
out that she pops out.
Yeah, she does. So we can get her on. Where is she? Where is the lovely woman?
And I love that in that little introduction sequence to her, she smells flour, and
Yeah,
then it's like, I know this, and it's like, well, it hasn't been in Spain, so it's a little weave, a little hint that maybe she does know that De La Vega is her father.
exactly. And she seems to pick things up pure on instinct from old memories that obviously wasn't around when she was young because she was still developing. So we can go. And yeah, he's up to kill him. And his daughter Alina, come on, let's get her on.
Come on, please show her, please show her.
If we can make go 1 second here. Shit, man, temperamental this.
But man, this was Catherine Zeta-Jones at her prime. Like, god
Yeah,
damn, she's smoking.
she was. She was a god. She still is though. She still is looking good.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
But you can definitely see why Michael Douglas just fell for her hard.
I know. Where is she? So we can get her on. And plus, she's it also stops him in his tracks to go straight out and kill him, and he knows there's it does kind of put a damper on him. It kind of makes him lose. It kind of sort of reels him back in a little bit, though. It sort of like takes, sort of suppresses his rage a little bit.
Yeah, because that's all he has left. I mean, like, of course he's gonna be like, "I won't kill you now, but mark my words."
So wait, I think we can just play the movie a little bit, and yeah. Okay, so obviously he's gonna go up to try and kill him. Probably fucking die doing it. Oh, I hate these sites sometimes. I really do.
Mm.
Probably lower the quality a little bit. Whoops. Might have to go for shit quality, but I'll have to do. Yeah, that's not happening. Wait, here we go. And here she is. Yes,
Oh,
yes,
the beauty herself.
she is. And yeah, and like I said, I did not know she was Welsh, even though she had been on an old British TV program back in the early 90s when she was a lot younger.
I remember watching her in The Phantom, and that's another movie that is very unique in a sense.
Yeah, once I said, I'll probably get copyright for showing these clips, but I don't fucking give a shit. I just want to do this stream and have a laugh.
Mm.
And yeah, and like I said, there's it's little hints that she probably does know that she has been here sometime, but she hasn't realised it yet. But we do see little hints dropping by to her as the film goes on, which makes her start to realise when. I think, like you just mentioned earlier, that Anthony Hopkins telling her that he's her father, not Don Raphael, is the truth.
Yeah, because she meets up with a nanny. Now, yes, very convenient. However, it's a nice little bit where because the character was in the opening, and she was very small in that bit, and it's like, oh, okay, she won't come out later, but she kind of becomes an integral part because she gives Elena the information that you're not who you think you are.
I know. And then we got to Alejandro drunk, and he's about to pawn off that bloody medallion, which his brother has carried for a long time, to remind him of better days when they were young.
But he is stopped from getting his bottle of whiskey.
I know. It's like, you traded in for a lousy glass of whiskey, and it's like, why do you think I could get two? And it's and yeah, but he's totally lost now. He really is fucking lost. He has no idea what to do with himself anymore. He's lost everything that's dear to him. So what else are you gonna do? Get fucking drunk? But then
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I probably would do the same if I lost a brother, and all of a sudden, I see the man who killed him, just ride up. I would be like, okay, finish my drink, then off to kill him.
Exactly. But then he spots Captain Harrison walking around, and he almost goes out to try and kill him. Thankfully, Don Diego de la Vega stops him, and it's like, if you do that, you're gonna end up getting yourself fucking killed. And he is trained to kill, and you see him trained to drink, which is a very fucking funny line. I love that.
It's great. And then when we get this little brief fight scene, if you can even call it that, it's just funny how he gets his ass handed to him, Alejandro at least, and De La Vega just doesn't even need to move.
I know. But then he sees the medallion. So look, yeah. Let's get down here a little bit. And it's like, he realizes who this kid is, and he's like, yeah, I don't want this fucking kid to die. I'm pissed off. I've lost everything. I want to get my revenge. this kid who saved my life definitely deserves his revenge. So I am going to train him.
I mean, you can clearly look into it as just basically, oh, he wants, to train this kid so that he can get his revenge and use him. But it clearly becomes more like a sort of weird father-son sort of
Yeah,
relationship.
yeah, because like once again he's lost his daughter, and now he starts to grow. He starts to see him as someone who he can, the only person he can probably care about since all that's happened to him.
I also love how
Yeah,
Alejandro embellishes. I just love how he embellishes the story. Like, you fought 100 men, I cannot forget, and it's very much similar to how Diego de la Vega said, "Oh, I fought 100 men" to his daughter at the time in the crib. It's like, oh yeah, they love to embellish the stories.
and he doesn't seem too fucking keen on the romanticism that's been put on him, the legend, because after all he had done, everything he had fought for, it just cost him everything that meant more to him than anything else.
Yeah, because after that, he's lost everything. So why romanticize the past? But yeah, like you were trying to point out earlier, that's probably the horse in the
Yeah,
back.
that's it now.
That's pretty dark.
Oh man, I love these. I love these fucking old PG movies. I love it when movies just to fuck kids up.
Yeah, I mean, let me tell you, kids' films now have nothing on what they did back then.
I know. So I can get out a little bit. So obviously they're going for, but obviously he knows that there's bigger things than the revenge as well, and he knows that they can't let they cannot let Don Rafael win at any cost, no matter what. But at the same time, it's still it's more personal to him than the bigger picture.
Yeah, like you can clearly tell that, yes, there's some overarching scheme, but at the end of the day, it's two guys just trying to get revenge.
Exactly. And I do like how he brings back the medallion for the training circle. Like the more you progress, the smaller that circle becomes for you to get closer to your enemies. And he's like,
Yeah,
I
and
like
the
that
more,
part.
you can aim that target at them, it's just like, oh, it's great.
I know. So we can skip over a little bit to the training
And the
montages.
bit where
And
he
yeah,
says, there's nothing outside of it, and then when he's like Captain Love, it's like there is nothing. I'm just like, oh, I felt that.
I know. And he's training really hard, and it's like he's not going easy on him. He's like, all right, do it again, do it harder, do it faster, do it more tougher.
And the shot for the ladies, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he was a handsome fucker. Fuck it. I get it. I get it. He's got that
He's a
charm.
good-looking man. Like, there's no shame in saying it. Antonio
No.
Banderas, definitely good-looking man.
Yeah, I'm very jealous of his good looks and his charm. I am. And then obviously I think we missed a scene. Yeah, and obviously he tries to sort of antagonize him a little bit, teach him a little bit of patience, and Alejandro just fucking almost goes for him out of pure fucking anger, which
Mm.
leads to
Actually, I think,
yeah,
yeah, no, that was sorry, I was thinking that was after the bath scene, but no, that was just
yeah,
before it. It's really great because it just shows that, yeah, the important lesson: never fight out of anger.
I know,
And
because these guys, you can get these guys in a very sort of aggressive situation, and they'll still keep their focus and composure. But if you go in there like a bull in a china shop, they're going to get the drop on you because they can see
and
how angry and stupid you are, and you're not keeping aware of your environment.
and I love that that lesson is the lessons that we learn in the training is carried throughout the whole movie. Like, there's a fight scene later on where a certain character, Catherine Zeta-Jones, of course,
Mhm.
fights out of anger at a certain point.
Yeah,
Oh no.
that's fucking up. Well, we can probably just leave it and fucking go over it. So obviously he tries to get him to have a bath because yeah, he's been living rough, hasn't he? So he's gonna be fucking stinking and smelly and all that.
Mm.
Especially in that heat. And then
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember what happens right after.
So after the bath, he finally completes his training where he takes off the vest and then he's able to disarm Zorro.
Exactly it. So you can get back on. Hate when things go wrong on here.
It's okay. But yeah, just briefly touching on that, I just love how we go from, zero to hero. Alejandro was able to best Zorro, disarm him, which, you could never imagine him doing at the beginning where, he couldn't even beat Zorro just with a stick.
I know, because he was all drunk, and this guy, he still, even though he's been in this cell for like 20 years, he still had these skills honed into his instincts.
Well, it's probably like riding an old horse at that point. He knew instinctually how to fight. So when you get that down properly, it's probably the same.
Exactly. Yeah, so this is where they go to the marketplace, and this is where he comes across his own horse. So you can,
Yes, we get Tornado 2.0, definitely the offspring.
I know. Yeah. Probably shouldn't, but yep, and here we are. We're introduced to Tornado 2.0, like you said. And yeah, because it seems to be like he seems to go for the horse because he seems to be the only thing that he could calm down just like that. So the horse has probably picked him in a way.
What I also really like is that the horse has its own comedic chops in a sense. Like, the horse has its own personality, but in the sequel they take it way too far. But in here, it's just perfectly balanced of it being, its own cocky little character.
I know, and it does lead to some very funny moments where he's kind of been a bit disobedient, and every time he tries to look heroic, the horse just makes a fucking tit out of him.
But I think it just also works pretty well because from what we saw of the original Tornado, he's very much like Don De La Vega, very, obeys his commands, does what he wants. But, this Tornado is very similar to Alejandro, very cocky and, it's just like, oh, sorry, makes jokes every now and then.
Yeah, like he doesn't he doesn't really take the situation seriously enough when he should. And obviously, Alejandro is Don's basically his own little proto Zorro mask in a way, and he's obviously wants to see. He's obviously trained enough, and he thinks, you know what, I may as well go out and start to gain some experience, and and maybe get Zorro's name back in the fucking headlines.
Yeah, I mean, like he's got to do something, and we learned that Zorro doesn't appear often, but later on, when we finally see Alejandro be the Zorro we expect him to be, it just pays off beautifully.
Yep. And there's lovely Catherine Zeta-Jones catching him trying to steal some horses, but he lays on the fucking charm and he's like, just like, he's a thief, but I'll let him go because he looks handsome. Yeah.
I mean, they're both good-looking people. I think you can.
Catherine
I think
Jones
you can
is
let
so
it slide.
gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah,
God, Catherine Zeta-Jones was so fucking stunning back then.
she is a very beautiful lady still now.
Yeah. And yeah, obviously he's he's basically just trying to get the horse, really, isn't he? That's it. That's basically the whole thing. It just leads to the fight, and
Yeah, it should be a simple objective, but no, the Tornado doesn't want to be tamed.
I know. So it's kind of like him in a way, isn't he? He's kind of like, yeah, like you said, he's not really one for authority.
Yeah, they're both like both Zorros pick their horses, but both horses have pretty similar personalities to their Zorros. From what we saw of the first Zorro's horse, of course.
Yeah, no, it does match very well. Like like De La Vega's horse was very obedient, very loyal, and this one is just not fucking having it. And it makes it funny. It makes the comedy work, and it makes sense towards it sort of adds a bit of levity because we've had a bit of fucking darkness. So yeah, let's have a fun little sequence where
Like if
Chris
you've break
is attacking.
if you've broken it down, really the only thing we've had is short little training bit where we have a small little joke or a gag, if you can even call it that. Besides that, it's been pretty much revenge driven and
I know,
years of torture and all that. So it's nice to have a good action sequence with some comedy.
I know. Plus, you can see here he's skilled in his fights, but at the same time he's still clumsy and he still has loads to learn. But he's getting there. But it brings a bit of danger as well as some comedy.
Mm. I
Yeah.
love the bit when he's just dogpiled.
Yeah. So we can move over a little bit here. And yeah, look, fuck it. More fight scenes and look at him. I think
Yeah,
that's
I know, and it's just sort of like, oh, we needed a bit of a training montage to show that he can kick ass. Just a small little bit to add a bit more believability.
and it's very slapsticky as well. It almost feels like kind of like when Jackie Chan does his stunts on the more swashbuckling adventure instead of like kung fu. And it
Oh
comes this
man,
guy,
yeah, yeah, that big guy. I'm like, uh,
You always need a big guy. You always need a big guy that can take your punches and throw you about.
yeah, I miss that where we have just a big henchman who can, hand our heroes asses to them.
Yeah, I like this guy. Kill him. And yeah, this will probably fucking crush his face to bits, but it's still funny. It's still funny. Look at that.
Yeah, yeah, and the bit when his teeth falls off is it's just pure comedy gold.
I know. You had to hit him like 5 fucking times before he knocked him out.
And it's just so great because, like, in any other film, it'd be like over the top comedic, but for some reason, this film it just balances the darkness and the comedy
Yeah,
really well. Oh, and that practical shot, brilliant.
I know. Yeah, yeah, and he's still a bit of a fucking idiot. This makes it funny.
Yeah, then he's just
Uh,
running out with.
No, the fucking just no, because he had to stop it, otherwise it'll blow him up. So yeah, he's basically just delaying it, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then we get the famous church scene.
yeah, no, and she's like in confession because she got a little wet looking at him.
It's like, how long since your last confession? 3 days.
Yeah, he gets the fucking one of the commandments wrong as well. He's like, "Don't worry, you killed someone." It's like, no, it's like that is not the fourth commandment.
Of course, my
It
child.
does, yeah. And yeah, and obviously she's shamed his father, and he's like, maybe he deserved it. I love it. Antonio Banderas is so fucking funny in this. He can be he plays such a fucking idiot, but he still manages to be very charming in his goofiness.
It's
It's
the power of charisma, man.
I know I love him. I mean, even in Desperado, he's kind of got a bit of a fucking goofy charm to him, even though it's this hard and I say he's basically the same, isn't he? Because he's kind of like a bit of a charming goofball who wants revenge.
Yeah, I'll definitely say so. They're very similar characters, but I think Desperado it took it a bit more seriously.
Yeah,
This one, you can definitely see his comedic chops are really, on the forefront.
yeah, and obviously you can see why he got picked to play Puss in Boots and why they made him like this Zorro-like character because yeah, he's played this part. He can play this part in his sleep, and yeah, you can see the camera's just as it looks like it's got Vaseline on it just to make her look more appealing. It's like you don't need to do that. She already fucking lights up the screen. You,
Yeah, but
yeah,
but it's just sort of like it's definitely showing that this is definitely trying to be that classic 50s aesthetic.
I know. Yeah, and it does have a very old school approach. It does feel like a very old one of those old serials from the 30s and 40s, and it's another reason why I like Indiana Jones as well. They both
Mhm.
have this kind of adventurous feel to them.
Because I think with the 90s, especially the late 90s, they had a lot of movies that were pushing CGI more so. This
I
movie
know.
felt like a time from a different era, like just 20 years before. And it just shows that, yeah, things are very much, modernized, but, going back to the past is always well worth it.
I know, and yeah, and like you said, it still feels very gritty as well. It's nothing looks clean. You can actually feel the dust getting on you when you look at it because
Yeah, for all this film being like a 90s film, it does have this sense of grit to it that just, yeah, I don't know how else to explain it, but it just works for the film.
yeah, it makes it feel more real. It makes it feel more real, and like you said, CGI was mostly really taking over, and we're getting all these like natural disaster movies like Twister and Dante's Peak, and it was kind of oversaturating the cinemas, and then we got this, which was like an old school adventure with an actual story with characters you could care about.
Yeah, I know, and very well developed because this brought back characterization. And you know what's funny? The year before, Batman and Robin came out.
Yeah, yeah, I liked it as a kid, but when I watch it more and more, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of shit. It's kind of shit. It's enjoyably shit though, but it's shit though.
Hey,
It
it's
does,
definitely better than what we're getting now.
yeah. I know, and the thing is, George Clooney actually is well cast as Batman. He just wasn't given any material to work with, or it was obviously a toy commercial. But
He
this,
definitely nailed the Playboy aesthetic of
yeah,
Bruce Wayne.
yeah, even more than Michael Keaton did, because Michael Keaton was more like a recluse that didn't know how charming he was. Because even Michael Keaton had a charm, but it was much more reserved, more
Mhm.
quiet. So, yeah, so obviously Captain Harris has tried hunting him, and he's gotten away.
I
Once
also
again,
feel bad for the priest because later on he's one of the people that are imprisoned.
yeah, I know, yeah, yeah, he really fucking gets it just for collaborating.
And like, you think Harrison's like, I'll deal with you later. It's just sort of like, he gets put in prison or whatever for like 5 minutes or something, and then he gets let out because he's a priest. But no, he gets sent to essentially the gulag.
Yeah, I know, fucking hell. This bit always cracks me up. It's like, hey, he's stupid though. He's stupid though. It's like he's trying to get the fucking horse, so he just insults it.
It's
And yeah,
just a great little comedy bit with the horse. It works so well,
it's
especially Antonio Banderas.
I know it's like I said, it's a very dark film, but it remembers to be fun. It's like it's got that perfect balance. It never overdoes the humor. It never overdoes the dark. It just gives that right amount just to make you care what's happening.
Yeah, because the darkness just amplifies the comedy in the best way possible, where it's like, levity, comedy.
Yeah, even the horse is fucking mocking him.
Yeah. That's the face of a man is just like, do I really want this horse?
Yeah, obviously gets back and he's like, "Hey, I've got Zorro's name in the headlines. Everyone's gonna know the name." And he's like, "Zorro's never about that. It was about doing what was right because it was about helping the innocent when no one else could." And he does feel a little bit insulted by it as well because he's gone through a lot of fucking training and he looks like he's just had his first battle and made it through alive, just
Yeah.
barely.
I just love how Diego whips off everything that he has. It just shows like you're not ready yet.
Yeah, you're still cocky, you're still full of yourself, you've still got this ego, and you know, the sooner you lose all that and start to get your head straight a little bit and start being a bit more humble, then you can be Zorro.
You know what's funny is that this also it's also kind of a proto Batman Beyond thing because
Yeah,
it's very much like you've got the strict, stern, older mentor teaching this young, cocky, brash, younger generation.
yeah, that is a good point. That I fucking hell, hey, I don't. I wouldn't be surprised now if this inspired Batman Beyond now.
Yeah, because like I bet they were watching it because I think Batman Beyond came out in what 99, So a year after, so I could imagine they'll be like, "Shit, we need to make this new Batman series for kids. What are we gonna do?" So I can definitely imagine them being like, "Mask of Zorro. Let's go back to Zorro himself."
Exactly. But then he looks like he's about to do another training. Then he whips out. Where is it? So you can get it. To give you. There we go. Let's get
Yeah.
to the scene.
And what I love is this scene is that Alejandro is not taking it. Like he's trained for what we can assume is probably like a couple weeks, maybe a month. And then, he's just not having it. He's trained to be Zorro. And then when he tries to be Zorro, he gets shut down.
I know. But he does, like I said, he needs to be humbled because he's still egotistical, and that will get him killed.
Mm.
Yeah, like he'll get cocky, he'll get impatient. That's all those bad qualities. That's especially when you're up against dangerous men that are trained to bloody kill.
But, he needs to perfect the playboy persona of,
As well. Yeah,
yeah.
he's got to have
And
charm. It's like
I
he's
love that bit when it's like charm.
charm. Yeah, Anthony Hopkins has bags of charm here as well. He really does. And yeah, he really does play this fucking serious. I mean, he doesn't think it's below him or anything because he's never. Because if you watch his interviews, he's one of those actors that never took theatrical dramatic actors that seriously. He got into acting because he wanted to be famous. He wanted to do the money, and I think that's why he does films like this so well because it's never beneath him.
I think he just fits perfectly in this role because he's a working class man and he just knows that, yes, I know what role I'm going for. I think that's why he works with Martin Campbell really well, at least in this, because Martin Campbell seems like a working class director.
Yeah,
And
it is. I
there's
know.
just something about working class actors and directors and writers that just they know authenticity, whereas people now where it's just sort of like, oh, let's write what we can do and we're trying to take each other seriously and oh, we're more important. It's like, come on, man, come off it. You're playing a character or you're writing, a superhero movie.
I know. And this isn't like a role that usually conventionally could be cast for a working class actor. It would be something more in the theatre who's been doing it since they were teenagers or kids. But Anthony Hopkins just pulls it off because I think he obviously is a trained actor, but he's not any other trained actor. He actually does have he actually sees acting for what it is. He simplifies it. He doesn't go pretentious with it.
I think that's the mark of a great actor
I know.
when you can just portray, this one character and just also be a different character. Whereas a lot of other actors now, they're playing basically themselves just on screen.
Exactly. And give credit to Anthony Hopkins. The guy still looks like he's in fucking good shape here, even though
Yeah,
he's
dude's
clearly.
dude's
Yeah,
great. Yeah.
I know. Despite the fact he's clearly getting close to his 60s, but yeah, dude looks fucking good. He's fucking on in it.
Yeah, I know. Like he looks pretty much like how I would envision a 20-year-old, well, extra Zorro would look like.
Exactly. And so they go to the party undercover, try and infiltrate, find out what's going on.
I
And
love the line where he's like, "This is the stupidest thing I've done," and he's like, "I'm sure it's not."
yeah, and I do like how Anthony Hopkins doesn't really hard himself. He just looks down because he's the subservient, and Raphael's a total fucking ruthless elitist snob. And yeah,
Yeah, because he considers himself a true noble, and I'm like, that's an extra bit of characterization to the antagonist. That's just it works. It just shows that he's like he thinks he's above everyone else.
he does, and it just makes makes him an even greater villain. And it's kind of like a little commentary on the elites back in the day as well as, and you could argue today. But now he's kind of out of his depth though. Alejandro is really out of his depth because he has to pretend to be a nobleman, something he knows nothing about. But it's a nice little layer that where we see he can adapt, he can sort of like think on his feet.
Can I just ask, what's the timeline of this? So I'm assuming the night before we had that training, not the training, where he steals the horse, and then I'm assuming the next night he has like a whole day to prepare being a gentleman, or did that all happen in like a couple of hours?
I don't know. I don't know if it's. I think it might have been a couple of hours because I think they're short on time because Don Raphael's got his plan, hasn't he? And there's no time to waste, so he's probably had to show what he could in such a short amount of time, and the rest is up to Alejandro, and hope he makes it through.
Yeah, and I also love that, Alejandro's trying to balance being himself while also being the playboy. Well,
Yeah,
the aristocrat.
exactly. Yeah, and he does bring it. He does come across like someone who's been spoilt by his dad, and he plays it well. It's almost like he's playing it to insult the elites as well, while cozying up to them.
I love that when he has like genuine interaction with Elena, it's very much you can see this is definitely Alejandro being himself.
Exactly, and obviously we get to know Elena a little bit more as well. She's actually very compassionate towards working class people or people that have been downtrodden. Well,
She's a strong
yeah,
female character without really needing to rely on a sword, even though she can totally kick ass.
I know. And obviously, Captain Harrison's got a bit of a thing for her, and he's he has no fucking chance.
I
He has
just
not.
love that. You can definitely tell that this is sort of very similar the dynamic with the previous Zorro. Both the antagonist and the protagonist love the female lead.
I know. Yeah, that's a good point. That as well. I think Captain Harrison might be a bit more ruthless and psychotic because he barely smiles. I think there's only really a couple scenes when he does. He's got
Yeah,
that. He's
he
got
only laughs when things are really sick that
yeah.
he does like later on when Alejandro and Harrison have a one-on-one scene. He's like relishing in it.
I know this. Yeah, look at those eyes though. There is no fucking there is no humanity behind those eyes either. Fucking hell.
Yeah, nah, he's just looking at her like, you just you belong in the kitchen.
I know. And there he is. He's being all like, "Oh, this sword fighting is so boring." No, he really does play it up. He really goes a little over the top, and like I said, he's taking a piss out of these people. He is being as smug as he can to fuck as a way of insulting them.
He's what people think aristocrats would
Yeah,
be, and it's just sort of like he's getting away with it. That's the
I
brilliant
know.
thing.
I know because in a way, he's probably not fucking wrong. And yes, see if we can get to another scene. And yeah, it goes to the dance number. Obviously, Anthony Hopkins is got his own plans as well. He's keeping them a lot more closer to his chest.
Yeah, because a bit before, when Diego gets into what's his name? Sorry, the bad guy's name.
Yeah, he goes and he tries to find out information, doesn't he? By
And then he sees the painting of um Elena's mother. Like, that's really messed up. Like, I'm assuming that's like after she's dead or something like that.
exactly, and obviously, and soon after that, he gets to lay on the charm a little bit more. Gets to a nice little dance, and he
The
gets to
dance is beautiful.
yeah, and he gets to fucking stick it into Captain Harrison a little bit, because he really, because it is a personal thing for him as well, but he has to sort of keep that hidden first. Look at him,
Dude,
look at Captain Harrison. This is a guy whose crowd has been fucking smashed to pieces.
yeah, that's what it looks like being cucked.
I know. Yeah, he is not a happy chappy. Look
Mm.
at him. Yeah, look at it. Yeah. Yeah, she's fucking loving it.
And it just really shows how Antonio Banderas has such a great background in dancing. He just moves very wistfully.
Yeah, and he looks a little proud of Alejandro here as well because he smiles a bit, and I thought that
Yeah,
that's so
he's like,
nice.
oh yeah.
So he's doing well. He's learning. He's not that cocky young upstart that I found in a fucking bar drinking himself to death. He's coming along real nicely.
However, he needs him to cause a distraction or get the Don's attention.
Yeah. So yeah, fucking try it on with the guy's daughter or the guy who raises us his daughter as well. Because like I said, father figures are very very touchy with their daughter. Well, with their daughter's boyfriends.
He wants to continue the bloodline.
Exactly. And obviously, he does sort of like pretend to be a little bit humble and say, "I'm sorry. I hope I didn't insult you." And obviously, the guy's like trying to be the cool guy here, isn't he?
But Elena is just so pissed off, and it's
I
just
know.
she's
She's like,
definitely pissed off with him.
I know. She's pissed off, but at the same time, she likes it. She likes
Yeah,
it. Obviously, we get a bit of exposition into his plans and that he actually plans of forming his own, basically his own little tyrannical utopia in California. All the other dons are wondering how we're going to do that. And he's like, oh, I'll show you.
it's a really smart plan that he has.
I know. So take him down to the mines where all the work is being done. And apparently all the prisoners are slaves. They're fucking whacked to death, everything.
Mm.
Not treated well. And it turns out he's using the gold. Turns out they're stealing the gold as well from the Spanish. And they're going
Yeah,
to...
so technically,
Yeah,
this is technically the gold of the people who own the country, but he's stealing the gold, marking it with the Spanish symbol, so it seems like he's moving it from Spain, so he can pay off. I think it's
exactly.
Saldana, and then he can run his own country. It's a brilliant plan.
I know. So yeah, stealing his gold and buying it with his gold. It's that's really fucking devious. And then we get to this guy, and he survived, and he makes this great speech where, yes, I am a criminal, I steal gold, but you, gentlemen, you stole our lives, and I love that. And look, he
Yeah,
laughs as well. He laughs at this guy's making a good point, and he just laughs at him
and
like
I
a
just love
stupid.
how it's like he's a common criminal, and it's like, yeah, as common as they come.
And yeah, he's a fucking hero, Jack. He is. So you can get to the bit where
Yeah, because I love the bit when he flies through the air and gets shot.
and
It's and Alejandro breaks character. He's not supposed to, look
I
a
know.
peasant in the eye, but he breaks character for him.
I know, and you really feel him as well because this guy is he was another guy who clearly looked after him because he was, while he and his brother was off, and I'm guessing they bumped into him and the guy took him in
Mm.
when they were kids, and yeah, so it's basically he basically was like a father figure to him.
And then when he sees
Yeah,
Alejandro, it's a nice little
um,
smile.
it's such a fucking gut punch as well. It really
Mm.
is. And there he smiles. Yeah, he's like, does that fucking land, doesn't he?
I mean, you can technically say that, yeah, he's lost everything to his childhood now because he lost his brother. His parents are dead, and now he's lost a father figure. The only thing he has left now is Zorro.
Yeah, and this is the only time he laughs is like, "Hey, I shot him while flying through the air," and it's like he doesn't care that he's just killed a fucking guy who was being oppressed and fucking treated like shit. He just sees it. He just sees it as another death, and it amuses him.
Yeah, he's one sick son of a bitch. But man, his
No,
comeuppance is pretty great.
I know. Yeah, you want it. You want him to fucking die. He does get a pretty fucking humiliating death in a way as well at the end, but we'll get to that later. And obviously,
Definitely.
Captain Harrison sees something in Alejandro a little bit there, and he can't. I don't think he can put his finger on it. So invites him to his hut, doesn't he, to find out more.
Yeah, because he's just like, this guy's suspicious. I feel like I know who he is.
Mm. And yes, obviously he's tending to the horse. Fucking hell, did Anthony Hopkins? Sorry, did fucking De La Vega get a job with Don Raphael under his disguise?
I
I think I'm,
mean, it must be that they stayed the night, I guess, and that's why he's there.
yeah,
It's really weird because like Elena just shows up, and while it's a nice scene, it's like, "Wait, why are you here?"
yeah. And obviously she does sort of sense a familiarity in him as well, like in his voice. 'Cause there's a lot of things that we do sort of like pick up when we're babies. That's why they have us tell. That's why they have grown ups tell us stories and pull faces so we can recognize facial recognitions.
Yeah, it's a
Yep,
great
yep.
moment that he's trying to stay the peasant. He's not trying to over-explain that I'm your father and all that. He has to play it
I
calm
know,
because there's more important stakes.
I know. And it's his only fucking daughter, and she was taken away from him, and he can't tell her that he loves her, and he can't hold her and cradle her and fucking break down, saying how much he's wanted this. It's and he does it all so well without saying anything, and that's the power of a fucking good actor, just saying a lot without saying a bloody word.
And his just looks, his facial features, it's just it. He nails it so good that he's trying to remain calm, but he's like, oh man, I really want to tell her.
I know, but obviously she takes a liking to him because it's kind of like there is a natural bond between them as father and daughter, and even and she doesn't realize it yet either.
And then when she says, there's something calming about your voice, yeah, have I met you before? And it's like, no. I'm like, oh, gut punch.
I know. But the fact that she does have some kind of recognition, you can sort of see there's a little hope in there as well. You can, but yeah, it's such a good scene. The actors play it real well, and even though this is the first time they're on screen together alone, you still feel it. You still feel that father and daughter bond between them.
And then when he talks about her mother, you can really sense the sadness. And oh
Mm.
man, Anthony Hopkins is a treasure.
Yeah, it's like a painful past being brought up, and after such a long time of being alone and mistreated, and he obviously did have some companionship with all the other inmates, but it was kind of like you kind of had you had to be in it together a little bit, and yeah, and obviously we get Captain Harrison with Alejandro, and I forgot what to talk about here though, but he talks about how the fucking used to our tribe used to cannibalize people to make them stronger, something like that, give them more essence.
Yeah, and then we eventually reveal the hand in the jar and the head in the
And
jar.
yeah, not fuck me, man.
Yeah,
Gee. Remember watching that as a kid. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man.
it's like holy shit, that's a head.
And he's drinking out of it as well. Oh, but
And
yeah,
what's great is that, I think at this point he knows. I think Harrison knows in this scene because he mentions like an enemy and he has a brother. It's just the dead stare. It's like, oh man.
I know. So let's see if there's any. Is there any chats? Let's have a look. Here we go. Yeah, Lord Toxic. Yeah, we'll do a bit of chatting anyway because I've not been interacting for a while. But yeah, I was supposed to be Zara. Yeah,
Hello everyone. Oh, Meeping Tom. He's one of my
yeah.
subscribers.
All right. Yeah, nice one. Yeah, yeah. You got you subscribe to a very good YouTuber. Yeah, you've made the right choice. And yeah, hopefully, if you can, I hope you are already sharing his channel, helping him get more subscribers, maybe help his channel get bigger.
And so is this guy. He recently came up on Open Bar.
Yes, I did, and it's a small bit of traction, but never gone appreciated. So,
Hello, Nix. Morning to you.
hello, Nick. Nice to see you as well. So, yeah, and yeah, blue colors. Didn't know you were on live. Stupid YouTube not telling me. Yeah, blue collar. We went on a little earlier. We thought, fuck it, let's do it while we can. Let's do it while we can. Everything seems to be okay at the moment. So back to right. Here we go. Yeah, and he's drinking, and yeah, and he's like, he's got a brother out there, and I'm gonna find him. And he obliges. He actually does take a little drink as well, even though it's probably fucked. Even though he knows it's fucked up, but he's got to keep the cover, keep him.
That's from his brother's head too.
I
That's
know,
what makes it like even wow.
and I'm pretty sure that might be a Mandela effect. But I thought I saw a scene where when he goes outside, he spits it out, but no, he just breaks the fucking staff. It's
Was
like
the was the hand in the jar? Was that Jack's?
I think it was. It had like 3
Yeah, it
fingers,
was the 3 hands. Yeah, yeah.
so he got.
Oh
So yeah,
wow, it's even messed up.
I know. Is it? Is it more messed up when it's fresh? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. The head is like it's the brother, and it's like okay, fine, but like this guy was just a prisoner, and like yeah, I mean, like why that guy?
I know. Like I said, he's into some sick shit. He believes like fucking cannibalizing people will make him fucking more powerful and some shit. Is Then again, it seems very similar to Hollywood these days, especially with that list that's come out.
Yeah, I bet a lot of people would like to hide that list.
Oh no. Obviously, she's in the marketplace now. She's just having her day, and the babysitter recognizes her. And obviously, and yeah, they actually do give a little bit more hints, which because, like you said, if Anthony Hopkins just went straight out and told her, and she believed him without any of this context, would be like, wait, you just believe him like that? And but not.
I mean,
There's
like you
plenty.
could say,
Yeah.
oh, it's the parent sort of thing, but like there's no build up, there's no hints. It's like comes out of nowhere.
I know exactly, and this just adds more context. It gives you a reason to understand why she would believe that when Anthony Hopkins does come clean about it all. Yes, and she's skeptical as well. She's wondering, now these people are crazy. That can't be.
Sorry, oh no, Nick's just told us that's a violation of policy. Shared the movie too long.
I probably will. I'll have to dispute it and do a fair use thing with it.
Yeah, probably have to maybe re-upload it as just edit some things out.
Yeah, probably will have to, or put an overlay over the screen if I can. I'll find a way. It's like just go to video pad, put some little text over, blah blah blah. It should hopefully work out. But they make their own rules as they go along. I mean, fucking hell.
Yeah, YouTube. Ugh.
I know, and obviously he's starting to lose a little bit of confidence in the charade now. It's really knocks his confidence a bit.
Yeah, and I love how that scene where he says to Diego, "I miss my brother," and he's like, "Your brother is dead." I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, that scene. I don't know. The lines that
Mm.
Anthony Hopkins delivers is just so powerful and weighty.
I know, because this is no time to be fucking feeling sorry for yourself or chickening out. Shit is really happening. You need to get it together. I've lost as well. Do you think I'm fucking? Do you think I'm crying about it?
And then Antonio Banderas just says, "How? How am I supposed to, deal with this pain?" And then,
You use
the
it.
old Zorro finally passes on the mantle.
I know. Yeah, because he feels like he really has earned it this time. He's adapted in situations he wasn't ready for. He's learned how to fight. And this is basically him at his most humble since the whole training began. And obviously we get a bit more exposition, and obviously they're celebrating their plan. But then, nope, the fucking Zed comes by, and this time it is properly end. Yeah,
that is the biggest fuck you. It's so great.
I know, and it's not like I'm trying to fucking. It's not. He's not playing to his own ego this time as well. He actually is showing that Zorro really is back, and that he is for the people and not just for his own personal gain.
And it's a great little distraction, really.
I know,
It's
and that's
great.
and that little smile as well. God,
It's like Zorro is back.
I know. It's like, oh, it's like, oh shit, and obviously, so we get to a really good, cool fight sequences, and this is probably Alejandro getting a little bit of a chance to face up to Captain Harrison, and this time he's not impatient, he's not bloodthirsty, he's learned to focus, compose himself, and he's ready to actually battle this guy.
It's a great little tease of
Mm.
what's to come with the later fight. But jumping back to that last bit where Harrison is talking with damn, I keep blanking on the guy's name. Raphael. Um, he mentions like we should blow the workers, we should, destroy
Yeah,
everything. And
yeah,
then Raphael's like, workers? And then, even though he's evil, he's just like, even that's a bit psychotic for me. But
yeah.
then he totally agrees.
He never says straight out kill the workers, does he? He just goes remove all the evidence. Yeah, I've just remembered now. I've just remembered.
It,
Thanks for that. It's
yeah,
yeah,
it just shows that, he's an even worse version of him, very
I
much
know.
mirroring, it's like poetry, it rhymes.
I know. It's basically yeah. Don Raphael is basically one of the only guys who can keep him under control. And God have mercy on anyone if this guy ever was the guy running the show. Because Jesus, and obviously he's got these two guys surrounding him, and he has to think quick. So yeah, he kind of
Mhm.
he does this little. He kind of humiliates him a little bit, while at the same time saving him the trouble of being outmanned.
I
Yeah,
love the bit where it's like a bend over, and then the
yeah.
guy's just like, "What?"
No. Yeah, so he's still kind of got his little bit of cockiness there, tiny bit, but it's much more. It's I'm missing the word now, but it's much more under control.
Yeah, he's
And
much
yeah,
more disciplined.
I know, and he's not gonna, and he could just fucking kill him right there and now, but he thinks no, I wanna, I want to defeat this guy. I don't want to kill him. I want to fucking defeat him. I want to sh- take him on. I want to be able to handle him.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's
make
such a
it a fair
great
fight.
fight scene too.
Yeah, make it a fair fight. Be a bit more sporting, even though he probably does deserve a merciless death. Yeah, and get a good fight scene. And once again, the stunts are fucking awesome. You can tell all the work has been put into them, and even these guys are doing it for real. Even Stuart Wilson, who was pretty much getting on a little bit himself, he's fucking killing it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then when he finally escapes and we get to the when he's fighting the guards, oh, brilliant.
And and it's, here we go. And obviously, it leads to a really good fucking. Oh yeah, not the horse chase just yet, but it leads to this scene where he's trying to escape, but then he runs into Elena.
Did you say
And
this technically classifies as a sex scene?
I don't know. We don't see anything. Fucking hell. If YouTube get on my ass about it, they can go fuck off. I don't care.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just such a great scene though. It's like
Yeah.
the sexual tension is in the air. You know, Alejandro is like not taking it seriously, but
Yeah.
you can tell that there is some weight behind the sword. It's like, yeah, she knows what she's doing.
I know. And God, she looks fucking good, man. I don't think a woman with a sword has ever looked any hotter.
Nick says that she's so hot. Yes, we totally agree.
Oh yeah, I know. And yeah, it builds up. It helps build up the chemistry a little bit more as well. Oh my God, yeah, fucking reveal a bit more. Come on.
I love the bit when she takes off her jacket and then he just looks down. He's like, "Yep, I love my job."
I know. And yeah, he's obviously trying to. People say he was probably fucking sexually assaulted. No, he's trying to antagonize her. That's it. He's antagonizing.
He's trying to
Yeah,
get her angry. The lesson from before: never attack out of anger.
I know, because he's got to escape as well, and she's preventing that from happen. So yeah, antagonize her, let her do something stupid, get the drop on her, and and yeah, it's yeah, And yeah, he fucking cuts off her top, and he's like,
Yeah,
"Oh my god!"
that was just brilliant. It's like, as a kid, it's like, "Oh, okay." I think that shot was in the trailer, if I'm not mistaken, like the
Yes, it was.
final bit.
Yeah, it was. You need something to bring your crowd in, don't you? And I think you do almost see a bit if you manage to freeze it at the right frames. But yeah, I'll let everyone else be the judge of that happily. And yeah, she kind of gives him to a little bit. Yeah, she likes it. She knows she should hate him, but fucking hell, that's the thing with women. They get with guys they know they should hate or are bad
Look,
for
you know,
them.
girls love the bad boys. They love
No.
a manly man. That's just a fact. You can't dispute it, guys.
I know. Yeah, yeah, we're the aggressors. It's, women love that. It's been like that since the fucking dawn of time.
And I
And
love
obviously,
the bit when Raphael comes in. It's like, wait, what happened?
it's like, oh, he assaulted me. He took my dress and I liked it. But she,
It's like he was very vigorous. It's like vigorous.
yeah, I know. She said it with this. You can tell she's loving it. I love it. I love Catherine Zeta-Jones in it.
That look.
You know. Oh man. That's at least fucking awesome horse chase. Yeah, we've had sword fights, but we've not had a good horse chase, and it's it should be the case as well.
I think this
And
is probably, besides the final fight, this is definitely the standout set piece of the film. It's just so well filmed, well executed. There's a story to tell, and it's so great seeing Banderas, Zorro, Alejandro himself be the prime Zorro we wanted him to be.
exactly, and obviously this is very harks back to the old serials because even though I haven't seen them, I have seen footage, and there is a lot of outside shots where they're riding on horses and jumping over logs or backflipping off trees and landing on horses, that kind of thing, and they're doing this for real as well. I mean, it must have taken a lot of bloody practice to get right because they've got to have these horses moving at a certain speed just so you can jump over there and still land on them. Because if any miscalculation, he'd probably fall on his ass or risk a very bad injury.
Yeah, I mean that shot where he's jumping over the tree, like one misstep he could get trampled, and it's really well done. Well done stunts.
And I mean, I don't envy the people who actually had to do all this shit, but fucking hell, it looks so. But the work really looks like it was paid off, though.
Yeah, the film, it really did well, and I kind of wished we had a sequel that came out like 2 years later instead of like in 2005.
Yeah. Blue collar saying I'm catching up. I can't catch you too much, man. I know, but I'll deal with it later. It's honestly copyright people piss me off anyway, so I'll find a way. I'll get around it. I know I will.
Yeah, doing some of my videos, it's really hard.
Mm.
Warner Brothers is very weird though.
I know. I mean, me and Blue Collar's reaches streams. He shows. He's basically just shown stills, and he still gets fucking blocked or get claims hit on him. It's so either way, if it was just stills, I'd probably get the same claim anyway. There's a
Yeah,
50-50 chance of that, to be honest.
just put an overlay at this point.
I
It's
know.
really annoying, but
I know.
got to
So
do that.
may as well show bits of footage anyway, because you're never going to win that battle. There's
Mm.
always something. Yeah, and obviously, he finds out that De La Vega has sort of been doing his own little plans as well behind his back, and he's not that too happy about it. But they do, and he obviously knows that Elena's got a thing for him, and he does kind of trust him as well because he sees he's a good guy despite his faults, and he knows he's the only one good enough to pass on the mantle of Zorro. So it's like, yeah, if he's good enough for Zorro, he's the best guy for my daughter, and I know he's going to take care of her.
I love that he's now Diego has now moved past Zorro. He's passed the mantle on, and he's fully accepted
Yeah.
that yes, Alejandro is Zorro.
Yeah, and God, you just love fucking character development like that. It makes you because he's still likable at the start, but he's he's not fully well rounded, and this really does bring him full circle to his character journey.
Mm.
And he's and like you said, he is Zorro. He's not just caring about his vengeance. He's seen 3R Jack just gets slaughtered in front of everyone, and he sees just how badly everyone's been treated. And yeah, there's more to his vengeance now. There is a bigger picture, and he sees that, and he's got to focus more on them as well, more
I
than
think
ever.
what I think the
Actually,
problem I have with a lot of passing on the mantle stories is that they don't really show why a certain character deserves the mantle.
I know.
Like for example, Miles Morales as Spider-Man. I was never really sold as him as Spider-Man, and I know people, like to joke that Miles Morales is Miles Morales, but
Mm.
it's a fact. And the problem is though, is that we never got a story to definitively show us why he's Spider-Man. In the Spider-Verse movies, yes, you can say yes, he is Spider-Man, but you've never had a passing on the mantle story and actually stay true to it. It's like, why is Rey the next generation of Jedi? Like, there's
I know.
nothing really passing.
Yeah, I know, because she teaches bloody Luke more than he teaches her, and it's no, that should not be the fucking case. She should be young and naive, and maybe a little bit impatient, more flawed, and it's Luke's training that helps her learn a bit more about who she is and what potential she has. But we
Like,
know we
the
don't get that.
scene in The Last Jedi that I really like is when Luke teaches Rey, the connection with the Force and all that. Like, it's a small bit, but I'm like, wow, Luke is actually teaching. But
I know,
that's it. That's all we get.
I know, and it should be more. It should be more than that. It should be with him like it was with him and Master Yoda back in Empire. Because not a good Jedi. He was very impatient. He was very too idealistic, and he failed his training a lot of times on Empire, and he ran off to face Vader when he wasn't ready, even though he was told not to. And he
Nix,
almost,
you are definitely right though. Miles Morales is Miles Morales. Like
yeah,
that's just a fact. His name is Miles Morales.
I know. Just give him another. If he wants to have a superhero name, give him another superhero name, but just not Spider Man. Peter Parker is Spider Man. He earned Spider Man. He took on he gained great power, was irresponsible, but then he started to be responsible with his power, not thinking about himself and helping others. And that's why he's earned Spider Man. And
I
so
also
yeah,
love that in this movie, Raphael's definitely fearful of Zorro.
yeah,
He's not just one man; he's Zorro.
I know. And it's obviously he can't be the same guy that he locked up as well, because yeah, he still thinks he's dead.
And obviously, in the earlier fight, when they were head to head, you know, he can definitely tell it's a younger man. So he's
Uh,
like, Is it Diego? Did he train him?"
I know. And plus, he's no spring chicken now either. He's aging, and he knows his game. And he could probably have easily taken De La Vega out a bit more on his day. I mean, he did as well, because they were about the same age. He managed to get the
Mm.
up on him, and he had a personal connection to him as well. But this guy, he doesn't know who he is. He doesn't. He can't connect to who it could be. That's taking him on. So yeah. And obviously he's berating Captain Harrison for letting Zorro go, but he's like, "Nah, we'll get him. Don't worry. You have my word." But then, bang! Fucking Anthony Hopkins shows up, and he's like a ghost back from the dead. And it's like, and yeah, he's really bloodthirsty. He is relishing this moment that that he finally gets to face Don La Vega.
He,
No, sorry, Raphael. Sorry,
it's
calls.
such a great bit. It's so great how he's like, "Look, I've come to take my daughter. I will leave you."
Yeah,
I mean, but like you can tell he just really wants to kill him, and that's just so great.
I know. I know. And he brings Elena in, and tell her the truth. And obviously, he's like, he's a crazy old man. He lost his bloody daughter, blah, 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 blah. And,
You
but
know,
no,
Anthony Hopkins does a great job in this scene, but I think Catherine Zeta-Jones just steals this scene in particular. How she has to play, I'm worried about this person. Why is he doing it? And all of a sudden, it's like, oh shit, he's my father.
I know. Because the character is very naive, but she's not dumb either. She puts the pieces together. She smells the flower. She recognizes it. She hears his voice. She recognizes him. She sees the villagers saying that she was born here and that she was taken away from her father, and yeah, and it all starts to make sense to her now, and yeah, it can't be just some crazy old man. No, it's right.
And he's not just what's the word? He's not just trying to be, I can't kill Raphael in front of my daughter, but
I know,
he's like, I will finish this, but it takes his daughter to be like, hey, please don't do this.
I know. She's still, I think there's still a part of it that's because she still kind of cares for Raphael a little bit as well, because he has raised her in his own fucked up way. He has raised her.
I mean, from what I can tell, Raphael seems like a pretty good father in a sense. Like
Yeah,
he is fucked up in a way, but like the way it comes across is that yeah, he actually did care for this girl.
I know. And he gives himself up just for her, and obviously they try to try to fucking kill him anyway, but she rescues him because yeah,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
and
You
it's
can
good.
tell
Yeah,
that she's like, yeah, she's going through so much. She's like, yeah, I've accepted that Diego de la Vega is my father.
exactly. And that is fucking good writing. And obviously, it's getting to the final climax now, and yeah, yeah, work yourself to death and fucking die just so we can get away with our plans. It's yeah, the villains are truly are despicable, and sometimes you just need a good despicable villain, but they are two-dimensional. They feel fleshed out. Harrison probably could have been another one-note psychopath, but the guy was like that. Apparently, he's based on a real guy. So,
You
and
also
there is
need an actor with presence, though, because I
yeah,
mean, you can have a well-written antagonist, but if they're not performed well, they're just terrible. Like the actress for the antagonist in the Marvels, I can't remember her name for the life of me, but the writing was terrible. But it's also her performance that is pretty bad as a Marvel villain. She's not, very what's that word? She doesn't have presence.
yeah, exactly. And everyone does have presence in this though as well. I mean, even the guy who plays Lieutenant Harris as well, because he's basically got this one facial expression through the majority of the movie, and that could have been a sign of a wooden actor, but no, that the guy's a psychopath. He's very emotionless. He has no conscience, and it works well, but he still shows little hints of a reaction, like when his pride has been when his pride has been well, what's the word? Well, when he's been humiliated or cooked or whatever. It's so
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely cocked.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Obviously, they got to get rid of the evidence. I love how they don't blatantly say what they mean to do because, yeah, disgusting people don't mean what they say. They always hide it behind certain pretty words.
I love that Zorro stops the gold, so they have to stop the explosion.
I know.
It's
Otherwise, it'll
it's a
go down
nice
with them.
way, yeah.
I know. So he's obviously smart. He's using his environment. He's thinking on his feet. Plus he's already seen the mechanics anyway in the earlier scene, and he probably has put two and two together if should shit happen and he has to take action in this moment. As he gets to drop on some bad guys and yeah, get a cool bit of sword fighting.
Oh, and we have the one-on-one showdown.
Yeah,
Just
finally.
briefly back there, when Raphael looks at Elena, that look that is the mark of like someone's like, oh, I've been betrayed by my own flesh and blood in a sense. It's like, oh, I kind of feel bad for the guy, even though he
Yeah,
is a freaking psycho.
I know. Because he has seen her as his daughter, even though he fucking kidnapped her. But and yet of course he's gonna feel some sort of betrayal, and it's like he is more human than Captain Harris in a way, even though he's a just as fucking psychotic as he is. And yeah, he finally gets to show down this battle he's been waiting for 20 fucking years after rotting in a horrible cell.
And you could see the power scale with Diego and
Yeah,
Raphael because those two, like Raphael is not the fighter. He's a gentleman. Why would he need for fights? But he can put up a good fight. But Diego, he is trained his whole life. He is the expert fighter.
Exactly. And now we come across this scene, and I love the shot where the camera just pans from just behind Zorro's shoulder, and we see Captain Harris, and that music goes, doo-doo. Oh yeah, shit's gonna kick off, and
And the
it's
bit just
beautiful.
before, where Zorro pulls out the sword, and then the sunlight just reflects on the sword. It's just it's beautiful, man.
Yeah, it's a good little fucking touch. Yeah, you gotta have these little touches, and yeah, because you've seen these two guys finally get proper fucking a good little fight to the death this time, and yeah, he's getting the fucking drop on. He's getting like one move ahead of Captain Harris. He's fucking knocking him down hills, and yeah, he's overtaking him now. Something that he never would have done before he met De La
I
Vega.
love the bit when they just start fighting. I think it's like, how would you like? Is it your heads displayed? Um, it's a nice little taunt back, and I'm like, oh, it's just well written dialogue during a fight scene.
I know. And he's getting a chance to, and he finally gets his revenge here. And
Elena stops him,
yeah,
but Raphael, puts a gun up to her, and as a kid, I was like, oh shit, so he's not a good guy. But then when he says, "You would really think I would kill my own
my own
daughter,"
daughter. I know.
it just shows a bit of
There we go.
humanity in him.
Exactly.
We could have had a two-dimensional bad guy where it's just sort of like, oh, I will kill my own daughter, but no, he's like, you really think I would kill my own daughter that I raised?
I know. I know. Like you said, yeah, he could have fucking just killed her, but he was obviously trying to. He's obviously trying to let him lower his guard so he could get the drop on him. And yeah, it's very cunning as well. And plus, it's still pretty fucked up as well because you're using your own daughter as fucking a human shield here.
Yeah,
Even if
I mean,
even if he
he's a
is
bad
bluffing,
guy. He's
even
a
if he is
bad guy.
bluffing, even if he is
Yeah.
bluffing, but yeah, that shows, yeah, because De La Vega never would have done that to make his enemy question himself. He wouldn't. Raphael would though.
Yeah, for all the talk of gentleman being a gentleman,
I know.
that's probably the most despicable thing you can do.
Yeah, gentlemen are never gentlemen. They're always just as rotten, as ugly as the most commonest criminal. And yeah, he's weakened. He's weakened from his injuries, so it's left him a little bit weaker. And Raphael can overtake him a bit more because he's stronger. We get more of a good fight. She's knocked up. She's trying to get up, compose herself, and yeah, he doesn't do the. Alejandro does not do the Z this time. He does the M Morietta because it's not about Zorro for him. It's something personal.
I also like that Elena actually has something to do. Like,
Mm.
people will say that, oh, she's a damsel in distress, but she actually kind of saves the day. She
Yeah, she
helps
does.
save,
She
you
saves them.
know,
Yeah, she saves the people. She actually tries to get them out of the cage before, so they don't get blown up.
yeah, both Zoras are having their revenge, but Elena is,
Ah,
true to a core, tries to help the people.
yeah, she doesn't try to be a girl boss and step in and beat the bad guys while making the heroes look like fucking idiots. No, she actually looks past their own fucking ego and thinks of the people that she was talking about in that scene in the dinner because yeah, she's obviously been raised to be a very compassionate person. Though I doubt it was from fucking Raphael himself. Maybe one of the maids, who knows? And yeah,
Oh, that bit, you're doing well. Oh, just the biggest insult where he's like, your brother would have shot yourself. Oh,
right now.
man.
I know he's
You,
obviously trying to antagonize him because he's getting fucking beat. So I've got to try and fucking get this guy angry, make him impatient, make him lose focus. And he does a little bit as well, knocks him onto that crate of fucking gold. And
and I love how Alejandro uses his training. He jumps between the ropes and the logs
yeah,
like he trained.
oh yeah,
It all comes back, man. It's brilliant.
yeah, damn, yeah, that's a good little yeah. Once again, set up to a good payoff, and he gets the fucking sword into him. he finally gets a good bit of revenge. And just before that,
I tell you what, though, Harrison
oh
is an
man,
absolute Harrison is an absolute legend in a sense because he gets stabbed, but he's not dead.
I know. There's one little scene as well. One little moment. Yeah, and he takes the
Yeah.
mask off.
Mm.
This is. I want you to look into my eyes as who I am, not as Zorro, the guy you fucking wronged.
Yeah, I love that bit when he just pulls off his mask. It's like, yeah, this is personal. You wronged me, and now you're gonna be the last thing. Um, you know, you're gonna be the last thing you see when I kill you.
Exactly. I mean, fucking hell. You need more. It's nice little touches, and that's the work of a good fucking script. And yeah, and it's looking like fucking De La Vega's had it. He's injured. He's tired now. It's obviously from the gunshot wound. He's bleeding out, and he's weakened. And yeah, it does make you more exhausted. But he finds another way. He manages to fucking get the cat to fucking go off the cliff while the rope is tangled around Raphael's legs without him noticing. So yeah,
It's absolutely brilliant how Zorro outsmarts him. Just because Raphael
yeah,
has got the better of him pretty much all the time. He outwitted him 20 years ago. Now he's outwitted him by like using his own daughter. And now, Zorro is, Diego is beaten down, but no, he gets this one last victory over Raphael.
exactly. And it's almost like a fuck you as well because Captain Harris is wounded, he's dying, and not only that, he gets the fucking goal to crush him. The goal that they were going to use to to fucking take over California, and it's brilliant. It kind of goes back to GoldenEye as well because you had Alec fucking dying from his wounds after falling fucking God knows how high onto fucking concrete, and then you got his own dish falling on him, and it's yeah, I love it. I love it when the villain's death is like a big fuck you to him.
And then also, they're blown up too afterwards.
I know, and yeah, it's you get a real cool heroic shot of them walking out of the dust, and it's yeah, it's so fucking cool and heroic, and yeah, and it's also symbolizes just how for the people Zorro is.
Have you also seen the alternate ending to the film?
No, I have not seen that yet. Why? What happened?
So in the alternate ending, Saldana shows up and Zorro's unmasked. I think you can see a bit of it in the trailer, where essentially they're leading the people out and then they have a final kiss. And that's it. I don't think there was the death scene and the little aftermath. I think that was a reshoot, the final bit with the little boy in the crib.
Yeah, I think this ending does sort of work a bit better because it kind of comes like again, it kind of comes full circle, harking back to the beginning.
Yeah, I think this was one of the times where the reshoot is way superior than the original ending because it just sort of ends where, Elena and Alejandro kiss and then, pans up. It didn't really feel like a satisfying ending. But here you get a bit of closure with the three characters. And then we get to pass on, well, essentially Alejandro gets to give birth to the next generation.
Exactly. But before that, we get this scene where he's like, "Take care of my daughter," because yeah, of course he trusts him more than anyone else. Most dads are very picky about their girlfriends, boyfriends, but he knows Alejandro's the right guy for her, and he knows that they both like each other.
I mean, let's be honest. If Diego saw him in the street without the thing as a drunk and all that, any dad would be like, "No, of course not."
Exactly.
But, he's got to spend time with him. He got to train him. He got to do everything. So, yeah, obviously it's the natural choice.
I know. Plus, it goes back to the dance scene as well, because not only was I think he wasn't just smiling because he started to respect Alejandro a little bit more and saw he was coming through. He also saw that he was making his daughter happy as well. And that's something that a real dad would be proud of as well. Seeing his daughter just happy and enjoying herself with someone who was actually really good.
And that's the important thing now that a lot of movies miss is that, we don't have a sense of fatherhood or actual family core values.
Exactly. It's all narcissism now. It's all me, 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 me. I need to be independent. But sometimes, you gotta sacrifice your own selfishness and, think of other people, especially ones
Mm.
that are dear to you. So yeah, and it comes full circle to the dog's whining again. Don't worry, I'll take you out. Yes, there we go.
Little
And
Joaquin, isn't it?
yeah, so yeah, here we go. So now back to the beginning again. Full circle to the beginning, except this time he does get to live a very sort of seemingly peaceful life for a way until he comes back as Zorro again for the sequels, which ruin it. And yeah,
I mean, I have some enjoyment over the sequels, mainly because Catherine Zeta-Jones, Antonio Banderas, they do amazing job with what they're given, but the sequel's definitely not as good.
I know. Because the thing is, they seem to have had a nice little relationship. They've got a baby now. They're married, and it's a good little ending for these characters. And you don't really need the sequel. Just
No,
let
you
the
definitely don't.
and yeah, and
But
then I think, and it ends with this last shot where the hero walks off into the sunset, and then you get bang the Z. And what a great fucking movie, and it's still really good. And we need more movies like this today, more than ever.
absolutely fantastic, yeah. And did you hear that Antonio Banderas, like, if he was going to do a third one, he wants Tom Holland to be the next Zorro?
I know. I think maybe give another couple of years, let Tom Holland age out a little bit. But I don't. I think Tom Holland wants to retire as well because I think he's fed up of acting now.
You get fed up of Hollywood if you're
Yeah,
trying to live a normal life.
yeah. He seems like one of the good ones. Who has some kind of normality, even if he did go out with Zendaya. Did
I
he?
mean, can't pick them.
Yeah, I know. But yeah,
What are your thoughts on the closing song? Because I can't stand
yeah,
it.
yeah. I can't stand it. I mean, they do this. They did this with movies a lot, where they have this real good score, but then they try and make a pop song to go along with it, and it just doesn't work. Sometimes music scores work as music scores.
I will give credit to the second movie. The closing music definitely better.
Yeah, exactly. Just the original James Horner score by itself, but this was like proper back in the Nazis as well. I mean, even fucking, I think the Fifth Element had no. Was it the Mummy? No, actually no. The names escape me. But yeah, we'll go on to a few chats as well before we finish. And
Yeah,
it's such
sounds
a
great.
fucking good. Yeah, it was fun going through this film. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Nick's.
fantastic.
If there's a movie that doesn't need a sequel, remake, or redo, it's this. Yeah, I fucking agree.
Well, if you want me on to break down the sequel, just how bad it is, oh man, I'd love to rip that to shreds.
Yeah, I'll probably do that one day. Right now, I just want to get a few other streams out the way with, and
Yeah.
but overall, it's just a fun fucking swashbuckling adventure with a great cast that look like they're having fun. And the writing is really fucking smart. And yeah, Beardy Bro, yeah, we're nearly finishing now. Sorry, man. You might have to
Sorry,
catch the
mate.
rewatch. Yeah, if this doesn't get fucking blocked or claimed, then you'll be able to catch it straight away. But if it does, I'll work on the images and blah blah blah, all that stuff. And yeah, sequel.
Nix, I'm sorry. I know there is
Yeah,
no sequel. I'm sorry.
yeah. There's
My
no
mistake.
sequel. Yeah, there's no sequel, Nix. So yeah, we've gone through the chats and yeah, thanks, Blue Collar Loser. Always, yeah, you're always welcome to help me out. It's very appreciative. I always wish I could help you out a bit more because I never seem to have anything to help you with because you seem to have it figured out more than I do. And yet, so I think that'll be it. And I think I'll close on there. It was a good stream. Thank you for joining us, everyone in chat. And thank you especially, Tony Down Under.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here talking about such a great film.
Yeah. And right now, that's me done. And I'm off to the pub. I will see you later. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. I just need to take the live off now in stream. Gives a few seconds. And